Welcome to the Anyone But Cam Fantasy Football Podcast. I am one of your hosts and one of your commissioners. My name is Frankie, and sitting across the internet and state lines from me is Cam. Cam, how are you doing on this lovely Saturday evening, just on the eve of our draft around the corner on Monday?
Besides the fact that I wasn't introduced as your reigning, defending, undisputed anyone but Cam League champion, I'm doing a great time. Doing a great time. Having a great time. Doing great.
I think your reign can be summed up pretty well from a few months ago when Dylan, who was one of the more active members of our league, just asked you and I straight up, so who was it that won this last year? I can't remember. So that about sums up, the importance of that win to the league at this point. I don't know what you have to say to that, Cam, but you know.
Look, I know that Dylan just knows he's beneath me and doesn't even think about the championship at this point, but, you know, some of us are born winners, Dylan.
Yeah, and then I'm not even gonna touch that. All right, guys. This is episode 0 of the podcast. I am fully exhausted from my at least 60 to 65-hour work week so far, and I have at least 8 more tomorrow. So this is a little bit of a DGAF episode 0. We're going to talk about what we're kind of looking forward to for this season. Talking about some stuff that's happened recently, minimal editing, and we're going to go from there. How's that sound to you, Cam?
Sounds perfect.
All right. So the draft is right around the corner. We decided to do something new this year with the draft, a Dylan creation. Speaking of him, where he created a bunch of characters in a WWE video game to represent all of us. Which, to be honest, I did not expect him to put as much effort in as he did, and I was very impressed by that level of effort from Dylan. So thank you for that. And so he broke it up into a couple different matches, and playoff winners got in one match, and playoff consolation people got in one match, and there were playoffs and yada yada yada. At the end of all, it reigned supreme that Lassie came out on top. We know that Cam, who had the worst overall competitor because he won the league last year, somehow ended in 4th
And took Daniel out of the fight my character did through submission. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm not saying that I'm calling for a conspiracy already, but it's mighty peculiar, the results. What say you?
Look, so I don't know if you watched the final match. It was a Money in the Bank ladder match between just Lassie and Dylan. And this is the craziest fight I've ever seen, dude. Lassie's character sets up a ladder right underneath the Money in the Bank thing. Dylan's character goes outside the ring, tries to set up a ladder that's suspended between the ring and the announcer's table. And while he's setting that up, Lassie's character just walks up the ladder, and you have to get 6 kind of timed button presses in order to open the thing in the game. Gets 5 of them before Dylan's character even realizes what's going on. Tries to climb the ladder and take Lassie off of it. Lassie just shoves him off, and then gets the last one. Whole match takes all of 2 minutes. It was crazy. And that was a 6-point or 6-slot shift for all the people that weren't in that match, depending on if they were the front half or back half of the draft order. It was awesome.
That's
Craziest
crazy
thing I've seen.
Yep. That's crazy. Unfortunately, I did miss all this, but I did see people seem to really enjoy it. So it was a pretty fun idea. Maybe we'll do it again this year, or this next year, I mean. We did have a notable detractor who threw what can only be described as a fit about the results of the matches.
Not
And JP,
only a fit, but also then Dylan comes back with the screenshot receipts of JP being one of the few people that gave a fire emoji to Dylan's idea. and then JP is the one that comes back and says this was a dumb idea.
Yeah, I mean, and even too,
Called
he was in
out.
the Discord call, like having a great time watching the matches. So, I don't know, man. Sometimes the ball just doesn't bounce your way, and that's football, and that's life.
Yep.
All right. Um, so that's that. Lassie, takes that spot, and then the rest is kind of history. Everyone else kind of files in afterwards. We select our draft spots, and you know, we are all set for Monday. Cam, you and I ended up next to each other in the 108, 109, even though I had what was I, second to last options.
Yeah.
We'll be right next to you, buddy. All draft. We're sandwiched between Justin and Tyler. Justin, who does not pay attention to fantasy, during, before, or after the season, and then Tyler with insider information into the Jaguars locker room. So it'll be interesting to how we can navigate those. But yeah, anything that you're looking forward to? Anything are we what do we think that Lassie's gonna go with first overall? Just kind of like, what are you looking forward to for draft day?
Uh, Dude, I'm not looking forward to drafting next to you, but I am a fan of the fact that you're on the shorter side of the turn, so
Right.
I can reach for one person. I just kind of deal with the rest of it. Uh, if I had a bet right now, who Lassie's picking, it's Christian McCaffrey. I feel like Lassie just likes that testosterone. Uh, but yeah, I'm a fan of Logan staying true to his roots, picking that 12 spot for the turn. The man loves to not have to pay attention for 23 picks in between his, and can't fault him for it.
Yeah, I mean, there definitely are inherent benefits of being on the turn. It's the one of the only spots. I mean, maybe the 11 as well, but it's really the only spot. I guess on either ends where you really can just fully ignore ADP and you just get your guys, and then cause you just have it's so long until you pick again. It's you have no idea what's gonna happen between then and then from between now and then. And so you just get your guys, and you live with it, and then you just sit back and you take a smoke break, and then you wait for the next rounds to come up.
And being Logan, he might actually take a smoke break. Way to go, buddy.
Absolutely. So I would agree that I think Lassie's, if I had to guess, is going to go C-Mac first overall. Just looking at the order in which people got to choose, first three picks would have been Lassie, Dylan, Greg, and they all ended up in the first three spots. Cam, you went all the way down to number 8 with the 4th selection. Now, I'm not going to ask you to divulge your draft strategy or whatever. I will say that I was personally surprised you decided to drop that far down.
Look, I may or may not have misread your text and thought that 1 through 4 were all taken. That's all I'll say on the matter.
Oh, well, okay. That's what you get for being so lucky in the match.
Yeah, and I have no regrets.
Yeah, I mean, come on, it'll be fine. It'll be fine either way. It'll be fine.
Team's gonna be goated.
Yeah. So that not really much else housekeeping. Daniel is taking full control of his team this season, so that'll be something to look to see. And then I think the only other things to talk about next would be our rule changes that were suggested. We can go through each vote really quick. Daniel wanted trades to be approved by majority because I fleeced Jake on multiple trades last year. And then that was soundly rejected, as it should have been. Are we like children? Why would we approve majority trades? Are you with me on this? Or come on now.
Look, the only person I'm worried about is Jake because he's just an impulsive dude. But I trust him to care enough to not want to throw. He just makes some poor decisions sometimes. Everyone else I'm not too worried about.
Agreed. Logan suggested the 10-point deduction. Anytime anybody calls me by my name, of Frankie. Um, yeah, great stuff there. Did
I
not
appreciate
pass.
the creativity.
Yeah. The first passing, though, is that, we will talk about Logan more on the podcast. And Cam, in the pre-show, you were talking about an addendum to that rule, and I want to just hear it on the pod. What is it that you're suggesting in terms of how we enforce that rule?
All right, Logan. You want your place in the sun? You got it. All right. We will have a dedicated Logan segment every single podcast until you go a week where you say, "Oh, I didn't realize it was Sunday," or "I forgot fantasy existed," and set a lineup with a player who is either out or on bye or just not a complete team. Then excommunicado, baby. No longer discussed on the podcast until you show us that you can once again be trusted. So,
You put in the effort, we put in the effort. It seems fair to me.
yeah, and we're starting off just fully on you, dude. You got the segment. It's just once you burn us, we will not forgive, we will not forget.
Absolutely. Next suggestion here was that if Cam repeats, the league is deleted. Another meme that actually got really close to passing though, so I'm glad that failed. um, and
Yeah, you should be glad
then
it failed because your boy's repeating.
and then everyone that Cam gets, gives JP a stimmy for next year. Our biggest abstain vote for each of them. So people, I guess, didn't want to vote either way, but
I
unfortunately,
didn't feel
an
like I had
abstain.
the right to vote on that one, so I definitely hit abstain.
Yeah. Officially, unfortunately, an abstain is just as good as a no vote in this format. Maybe I should remove abstain for next year. I don't know. Anyways, Lassie wanted the draft to be held in a Zoom call to pay solidarity to running backs. That's a little bit, already out of the news with, I
Yeah.
guess it's not in the news, with Josh Jacobs signed, but I guess we're still waiting on JT. Is that it? Is there any other running back holdouts I can't think of? Dalvin's been signed. I guess Zeke is still a situation.
No, Zeke's with the Patriots now.
Oh, that's crazy. Okay. And so it's just JT now, yeah?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
If anyone notable.
As of this morning. All right. So sorry, running backs, no solidarity. All right, here's the part I'm not looking forward to. Mid-game ejections, suspensions, / retirements are worth 25 points. Now, this is not an option in the sleeper, program. I think I do have the ability to manually change people's score, but I don't know. There's definitely going to be a time where I'm going to miss this and somebody's going to get mad at me. I'm just going to be like, I don't know. So my official request is that if someone on your team gets ejected, you need to let me know because I'm just not, I don't know what I mean. I feel like I'm definitely going to slip through the cracks. But a pretty funny idea at least.
I think it's reasonable to expect the team, if they want the points, they have to point it out themselves.
Yeah. We finally have a last place punishment. It's kind of cool. Eating something spicy is the only vote that got no. It did not have any no votes, with 9 yays and 2 abstains, which is kind of crazy. So we finally have a last place punishment. That's pretty cool. What the item will actually be, TBD. But we'll make it extra spicy, I'm sure.
JP can cook something up.
JP on the case.
Exactly.
Yeah. We ratified the buy-in being at $25, with 8 yes votes. 8 yes votes, just barely enough. And then we moved the trade deadline back by 1 week, which makes sense because I don't think we moved it back when the league expanded to 18 weeks, 17 regular season games. So it only makes sense to do that, I think. That was your suggestion. So did you have anything to say about that, or were you hoping for 2 weeks, or was you happy with 1 week?
Dude, all I'm saying is all 3 of the things I suggested passed. So I'm a man of the people, first and foremost.
Next year, I'll write the name of who was the author, and then we'll see the results.
Collusion.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, nothing too crazy. There weren't as many suggestions. I mean, there were more suggestions this year than last year. I feel like in years past we used to have so many suggestions. So I feel like like I was, it's been a couple of years now that people have kind of talked about like realigning divisions or doing things like that, and there was no ground support for that at all this year, which is kind of interesting to me. Maybe people just wasn't an oversight. Maybe people are happy with their division still. I don't know. I feel like that narrative will probably restart as soon as one division starts like underperforming a little bit. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Seems like pretty reasonable stuff to me. I'm excited to get back into the swing of things and kick this off Monday evening. Um, yeah, I'm rambling now. What do you? What do you?
You and Dylan gonna hang out for the draft?
You mentioned that, and Dylan has not said a word to me. He's trying to. The only time I've talked to Dylan is he's trying to get me to watch Oppenheimer tomorrow, but I think I'm literally going to be working all day again, so
Oh yeah.
probably not going to happen. But no,
Dylan,
Dylan's not said a
priorities,
word to
dude.
me about that, so uh, probably not. I even have like I had a night. I was like I got an extra laptop. I'll just set that up on the screen so we can have a draft board up on the TV. We can have our own like other tablets or whatever. But that's okay. I'll do it by myself. That's fine.
Well, anyone in the PDX area, my spot's opening up. We'll call it 4:30, and then getting Dave's hot chicken, draft in the backyard. Be there, be square, and we'll call you in on Discord. Don't worry, Frankie. Someone bring a JBL.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I will be there. I'm excited to be there. I have another draft up on the first in Envy's Family League, which was a league that I auto drafted in last year and ended up in third place after losing Cooper Cup, which is pretty cool. But yeah, do you have any other drafts coming up that you're looking forward to, or any ones that you've done so far that went well or didn't go well?
Work draft happened on Friday. Went pretty well. ESPN sucks though. Just as I don't know, a piece of equipment. And then my dad's draft thing on Friday that I soft tried to get out of the league for because I'm just kind of over it. But I don't think it's going to come, or I don't think I'm going to pull it off. So standard scoring, still you need to reach 10 yards in order to get a point. IDP, ugh.
Yeah, I'm been trying to work with the commissioner in Envy's family league, about the 10 yard to get a point thing. So I'm like, dude, this is just terrible. IDP though, that's interesting. I've never played in a league with that, so I actually like the novelty at least is interesting to me. I don't know how it would actually go.
If you don't care about the league, it's just way too much stuff to pay attention to.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes
Yeah.
sense. What was I gonna say? Oh, with ESPN though, were you able to like take advantage of? Do they have like a weird like what was their ADP looking like? I mean, I'm sure it's pretty different from Sleeper. Were you able to take advantage of that at all, or is it just kind of like a home draft where it's just like everything's kind of random? It seems like.
Didn't care enough about the league to look at that ahead of time,
Yeah,
so I couldn't tell you for
that's
sure.
fair.
But yeah, most of the people in the league don't actually care about fantasy, so I'm not trying to go too try hard.
Yeah, that's the only thing is in obviously family league like it's like her dad and her brothers care, and then everybody else like either will stop trying by like week 3 or 4 generally.
Yeah.
Which to me gives me motivation because I was like, well, if I lose this league, I'm really bad at fantasy. I should be winning every year.
Yep.
But
Okay.
yeah. All right. Well, geez, I think we hit all the points. I don't know if you had anything else to talk about, Cam.
Nah, let's get out of here.
All right. Thank you all for joining us for the first episode 0 of our 2023 season of Anyone But Cam. I don't even know what season we're on at this point. I feel like we've been doing this podcast for my entire life. The good thing about this year is because now I make the schedule and I'm the boss, I think for the first time in like 3 years, we'll actually be able to be pretty consistent at it past the first like half of the year. So that's pretty exciting. Looking forward to that. And so, yeah, you guys can look forward to new episodes with us. Hopefully we can put one out pretty shortly after the draft, as we usually do, kind of giving our impressions of, what happened. We'll kind of rank everybody's drafts as we've done in previous years, and then we'll go full steam ahead into week 1.
Sweet.
Alrighty. Thank you all for joining us, and I have been Frankie.
And I am your champ, baby, for at least another day and a half.
And we will see you all on Monday nights.
Peace.